September 12th, 1952. A quiet evening in the small, unassuming town of Flatwoods, West Virginia. The sun had set, the stars were beginning to emerge, and life was carrying on as it always did. But on this night, the sky above this rural community would not just twinkle, it would bleed. A fiery, pulsating red light tore through the darkness, an unnatural meteor that didn't just pass by, but seemed to fall from the heavens, crashing into the rolling hills nearby. The dogs started barking. A sense of unease settled over the town, and for a handful of residents, an ordinary night was about to become a story that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. It was the night something strange fell from the sky above Flatwoods. Just as dusk was settling, a group of local kids were wrapping up a game of football. Their laughter echoed in the cooling air until it was cut short by a breathtaking sight. A bright, fiery object soared over their heads, its trajectory sharp and deliberate as it descended behind a nearby hill. Stunned and a little scared, they sprinted home, their words tumbling out in a breathless rush to tell their mother, Kathleen May. Intrigued and concerned, Kathleen didn't dismiss their story. She gathered her 2 sons, along with 4 other local boys, and a National Guardsman, Eugene Lemon. Armed with little more than a few flashlights and their own courage, this small group of 7 locals decided to investigate. They began the climb up the hill where the mysterious light had seemingly landed, their flashlight beams cutting nervously through the encroaching darkness. As they ascended the hill, the air grew thick and heavy. A strange metallic odor, like burnt metal or sulfur, stung their nostrils. The woods, usually filled with the familiar sounds of crickets and rustling leaves, were eerily silent. Mist rolled across the ground, clinging to their ankles and muffling their footsteps. One of the boys' flashlight beams landed on something that made him gasp. 2 small, glowing points of light, like animal eyes, watching them from a tree branch. But these were no ordinary eyes. As the group drew closer, a sickening, pulsating red mist filled the air, and a low, mechanical hissing sound seemed to surround them. In the swirling fog, a figure began to take shape. It was huge, towering over them at an estimated 10 feet tall. Its head was a dark, spade-like shape, and from within it, 2 massive, glowing, non-human eyes stared back. Its body appeared to be a dark, metallic tunic, and a greenish mist swirled around its base as it hovered silently just above the ground. What they saw would become one of America's strangest and most terrifying UFO encounters. They weren't looking at an animal or a machine. They were face to face with a creature not of this world. Panic erupted. A collective scream tore through the night as the group, overcome with primal fear, turned and fled. They scrambled down the dark, treacherous hillside, tumbling over roots and rocks in a desperate race to escape the horrifying figure. The camera shakes, trying to capture the sheer chaos of their retreat. The glowing, acrid mist seemed to chase them, spreading through the forest as if alive. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of the May household, their bodies trembling, their faces pale with shock. Kathleen May, her hands shaking, fumbled with the old rotary phone and called the local sheriff. Within the hour, Sheriff Robert Carr and a local reporter arrived, their flashlights sweeping the now empty hillside. They found the witnesses huddled together, still visibly shaken and nauseous from the foul odor. But by the time the authorities arrived at the scene of the encounter, the creature was gone. The only evidence left behind was the lingering, sickening smell of burning metal, and a community plunged into fear and confusion. Word of the encounter spread like wildfire. The next morning, newspaper headlines screamed the story, "Strange monster seen in Flatwoods." Radio broadcasts crackled with news of the bizarre sighting, turning the small town into a national sensation. The official investigation began, but the accounts were hard to reconcile with any logical explanation. When interviewed, the witnesses remained steadfast in their stories. It wasn't human, one would later recall. It just floated. The U.S. Air Force was called in. Their investigators examined the site, took soil samples, and analyzed the scorched grass and strangely twisted branches found at the landing location. Their official conclusion was swift and dismissive. The witnesses had simply seen a meteor, and their fear, combined with the eerie silhouette of a large barn owl, had created the illusion of a monster. But the witnesses, and many in the town, refused to accept this. They knew what they saw. It wasn't a meteor, and it certainly wasn't an owl. They insisted they saw something alive. The Flatwoods incident quickly became a part of 1950s flying saucer lore. The public's imagination was ignited. Diners buzzed with theories, comic books featured terrifying green monsters, and newspapers fueled the debate. Was it an alien visitor, stranded on Earth after its craft crashed? Or perhaps it was a top-secret military experiment, a new kind of reconnaissance drone that had gone terribly wrong. And then there were the skeptics, who argued for a more terrestrial explanation. Was it all just a case of mass hysteria, where the shadows and fears of a dark night magnified a simple barn owl into a 10-foot-tall alien? The theories swirled, but no definitive answer ever emerged, leaving the mystery of the Flatwoods Monster to deepen with each passing year. Today, decades later, the legend still lives on. The town of Flatwoods, once terrified by the encounter, has now embraced its unusual celebrity. Souvenirs, museum signs, and even a yearly Flatwoods Monster Festival celebrate the night the sky turned red. The creature has become both a chilling mystery and a beloved symbol of small-town wonder and the unexplained. As you walk through the town, you see its image everywhere, a constant reminder of that strange September night. Fading between the past and the present, we see an old, grainy photo of the original witnesses, their faces etched with fear and awe. That photo dissolves into the modern town square, where locals and tourists smile beside a statue of the monster, forever cementing its place in the heart of West Virginia. So, what truly happened on that misty hill in 1952? Was it a genuine close encounter with an extraterrestrial being, a fleeting glimpse into a universe far beyond our own? Or was it simply our collective imagination, reaching for the unknown in the face of something we couldn't understand? The evidence is gone. The witnesses' memories have faded into history, and all we are left with is the story. Some questions, it seems, are destined to remain unanswered, lingering in the night sky like the distant, silent stars. The Flatwoods Monster of 1952 remains to this day unexplained. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoy exploring these dark archives, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more mysteries. We'll see you next time.